Hey, what's up? It's Wade. Just got done cutting up today's video, and it's actually from the vault. It's from 2013. Probably one of my top public speaking experiences. I had about 450 guys in New York City chanting on their feet, vagina at the top of their lungs, and you'll see why in a second. And what this video is really about is self-amusement. And even though this was in the dating context, I was looking for this video for a female client, funny enough, and it was to help her get out of her head, help her get in a more self-amused, that magnetic personality that just comes out when you have the right vibe and the right mindset. And so you can apply this to any situation, whether it's networking, whether it's even a sales concept, a sales scenario, as well as in the dating context. It's really gonna help you just have more fun when you're talking to people and then focusing on yourself, so the more fun you have, the more fun everyone else has. So check it out, and yeah, have a great 2018 if I don't see you before then. And as always, enjoy.
So I officially have been in New York for about 40 minutes. Luckily there was no traffic. Came straight off the airplane, had only carry-on luggage. And what I had planned on talking about for like an hour, now I get about 10 minutes, is actually the same thing, and I'll fucking throw it in about 10 minutes here. And cool enough, what happened was, as I was sitting in my nice little aisle seats, I always get exit row, you fly enough. And the seat's empty, right? And I'm on the runway for about 3 hours. Like, we deplaned twice, get back on, and all of a sudden, finally, they're saying, here we go, we can come to the city, the thunderstorms and all this shit goes away. And I'm like, sweet, I got the spare chair right here, this is great. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, some New York old rabbi comes in and sits right next to me, right here in this chair, and he's all like, takes up all this room, he's like fat, and all of a sudden he's eating these weird hard-boiled egg things that totally smell like shit, and he's just like, and he's like, he starts reading scripture and he's going like this, and I'm just like, I've been on this fucking plane for 3 hours just sitting here, I'm totally exhausted, I'm missing work at this moment, a huge group that I was excited, I had this huge presentation about, and all of a sudden I decided, okay, how can I enjoy this moment here? How can I have fun? And at first I had these internal thoughts of pushing him down a set of stairs, which probably, well, whatever, that's probably not the best thing to do, karma-wise. And then after I quickly cut that off, I was like, okay, how can I make this fun? And I kind of start chatting to him, and he's got this weird Hebrew accent thing going. I'm not Jew. I'm from the Midwest. We don't have Jewish people there, so obviously New York is a little bit different. And all of a sudden, we're joking around. He's telling me stories. He's like, why are you in New York? I'm like, I have this seminar. And he's like, I do public speaking too. And it turned into a fun thing. And for me, if I look at over the last year and a half, probably the biggest epiphany I've had, because I said about a year and a half ago, actually it was about, 16 months ago, I realized I was on a 14-month plateau. So for 14 months, it was no new growth whatsoever in the game. I was just same level. And I'm like, what's going on here? What's going on? And then all of a sudden, it was just shit blew up, exploded. And I'm finding new levels of this shit on, it just keeps hitting on new and new levels here. And what it is, it's the self-amusement shit, which you've heard a million times, not giving a fuck what people think. And another example that I had was here in New York. What happened was we were at Hotel Gansevoort. Who's been to Hotel Gansevoort? The fucking old school one, not the one in Midtown or wherever the fuck. So we're there one night, and I see this guy. I had this story, it was one of the vlogs I had, and he had this awesome tuxedo on, and he looked like the Dos Equis Man. He was 65 years old, Dos Equis Man holding this martini, and he was looking off across the river into Hoboken, and he just looks, I looked over and I was like, that dude's fucking really cool. When I'm 65, I want to be just like that guy, he's so cool. So all of a sudden I go around, I'm doing boot camp, I'm running around with the students. 2 hours later, I look back, he's still there with another martini, trying to look really cool to fucking get some girl to come to him or some shit. And I've noticed for me, New York, I always say it's the best city in the best country in the world, and we live in the best time to be here. And one thing that Manhattan, I think, has really well as San Francisco, is this smugness. You're yeah, I live in Manhattan. I'm awesome. Yeah, I live here a couple months every year, so I think it's hilarious. I've done more boot camps here than anywhere. And I think that's actually a good thing. On one level, when you're talking to girls, it's some level of confidence. And the fact that you can live here, you should have self-esteem about that because it's expensive and you got to be an achiever to live in a city like this and all the other things that come along with it. But what the problem is I feel the more success I have, And I want to ask you guys if you feel the same way. It's like the more success you have, the more cool shit you've done, the higher criteria becomes for having fun. Who feels that? Right? Hopefully, yeah, it's true though. Like I'll watch a movie, I'll be like, this shit isn't nearly as funny as Happy Gilmore or some shit, like, I don't know. Or like South Park's the one thing I can laugh at because it's super intelligent, super funny. But I was watching some bullshit Oz movie on the airplane. I'm like, this shit's fucking whack. Like, there's nothing cool about this at all, right? And like I said, I've been teaching this shit for 5-6 years and trying to do it myself. But the problem, a couple different levels. One level is that as you get more success, you start identifying with that success. And it's like, oh, I'm successful with women. And what does that mean for you and your identity if you're successful with women? Can you make a mistake? Because the opposite of success is a mistake, right? Can you go up and look like a total idiot and do some stupid bullshit? So that sort of identity actually it's counterproductive to getting in the right headspace to push to the next level. And then you have me on my level where I'm teaching this shit. So I'll be out and all of a sudden I'll be like, oh no, there's a hot girl. What if there's somebody here who knows who I am or sees one of my vlogs? So I have these weird worries that I gotta worry about. And then when I look at the Dos Equis man again and see all that shit, I realize for myself, what I have to do is I just have to go fully over to the other side. You can't like half-ass it, you can't push it. And for me, it's awesome. For about 2 years now, I've been doing improv classes with Second City Improv and the Improv Olympic in Chicago, which is one of the big reasons I moved to Chicago, because the improv scene there is amazing. So there's all sorts of shit, and what you notice is like when you really commit to shit, that's when people laugh, when you really fucking go out there, right? And then guys are like, okay, well, how do I commit? How do I get in the flow, right? So I did this, I was in Las Vegas, was the first time I did this. And I figure we might as well do it in a room. Who has issues first with getting in the right headspace when they're out? A lot of guys. You know, I feel that the biggest indicator of being at the advanced level is just your ability to go like whoop and fall into the groove, fall into your little happy chi. Like think about me right now. I just was on a fucking airplane for 5 hours, not even flying, on the runway. It's hot, the air wasn't working, my computer dies and all this shit. And then I'm up here, I'm like, yeah, fuck, awesome, let's have some fun here. And just turn it on, crank it on. And as you get better and better and more experience, you just learn how to find that place quicker and easier. But there are actually a couple techniques that you can do. I'll talk about a couple in the field, but I want to do one right here. So everyone stand up. Who here saw my video blog from earlier this week? I did. I'm not going to do that shit, but it was funny, right? It was funny. Okay, so in the improv, there's all these sorts of, who here has done improv before? Probably a bunch of guys, right? They got a huge scene here too. So when you start off every class is you do some sort of thing to get out of your head. So do some crazy shit. And it's something to bring you really in the moment, bring you really present. And I think this directly correlates to what happens when you're in the nightclub. Because all of a sudden you get out and whatever you've been doing all day, maybe you're doing, for me it's been doing web design and writing fucking blog articles and video editing, or what finance is a lot of shit going on here. So you're in a very logical headspace. And then you get out and you're thinking, okay, must do warm-ups, inertia. I gotta like freedom from outcome, but convey my intent and paradoxes and all this shit's going on in your head. So the way you gotta do it is just do something that's totally retarded, right? So this, they have like the crazy eights, but I'm gonna do 4. So what we're gonna do is we'll go right hand, right foot, left foot, and you're gonna count to 4 in each one. So I'm not gonna do this like on my own first, we're just gonna all do it together. So it's gonna be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then at the end of it, today let's say, since I'm probably not gonna put this on video, we'll say vagina at the end of it. So then we'll chant vagina 3 times at the end. Ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, go! 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Keep going. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. Vagina. 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 What are we here for? What do you want more of? Fucking vagina! All right, all right. Yes. All right, have a seat. Have a seat. Thank you very much. Now, on the one hand, I completely fucked up that exercise, if anyone knows what it was. But on the other hand, who feels better than they did about 30 seconds ago? All right? So you're like, okay, go out to the club tonight and start doing the vagina dance. And you'll feel really good, right? I actually say on some level, that's about the extremity of the shit that I'm doing when I'm out. So I had the guys on program last week in Chicago. So I was like, okay, here's what we do. And you think about how the old days, they said the accomplishment intro, where all of a sudden your wing comes in and you say, oh yeah, this is my buddy. He's got a huge dick and he only dates models. Or like some shit, like some bullshit like that. So what I was having the students do last week is when one of the other students come in, he'd be like, oh, this is my friend. He's got AIDS. And they're like, ah! Like they're all laughing. Everyone's laughing. The girls are like super confused, right? So it's like fetal alcohol syndrome, AIDS, or like whatever it is. Like I'll just pull some bullshit out. I'll be like for me, like my friends are like, oh my God, it's like he hasn't showered in 3 days. Look at how greasy his hair is. Like, and it's just totally fucking around and busting on each other. Which on the one hand, logically it makes sense because that's what you do when you're with your friends. When you're just busting on each other, having fun, going around, and then all of a sudden you get to the club and you're like, oh, it's all serious, must convey value and do all that shit, right? So for me, like I said, over and over again, I'm trying to think of ways how I can really jump over that, where I just feel fucking awesome and doing stupid shit. So another one for me is like really stupid dance moves. And like you can't just go on the dance floor and kind of do some stupid shit like this. It's gotta be fucking ridiculous. So some of the stuff I'll do is like really spastic, so I'll kind of just like. But what it is, it's having fun for you. So it's cool because you shine the mirror back on yourself and it's something fully under your control. So a very fine distinction that I have that I didn't have before is when I'm in there, and everyone's had this experience, where you're in there and you feel like it hasn't fully hooked, and you don't feel they have, like she's not there and you want a little bit more playful. Who's had that experience? All right, the rest of the guys just don't go out, I guess. So when you're in there and you're thinking, oh, and that's that time where you're like, bring out either convey value or do the playful, funny story or tell some joke. And what I think in that moment is like, crank it up internally. So all of a sudden what I'll do, I'm like talking to her. It's not really going how I want it to. And then I'll start going like this. I'll be like, yeah, I just got into New York today. Like, what? This is the orangutan dong. That's what I call it. That's what that one is. So like literally like the most stupid, retarded shit. And guys are like, that shit's dancing monkey. It's like, no, a lot of times the girl like freaks out and runs off. And I like that. I want that to happen because I think that's hilarious, right? When she runs, she's like, whoa, what's going on? What the fuck? So for me, I have to do a lot of really physical shit. Because again, I'm coming from the background. I'll go out and I'll be like, the VIP room in Paris Club in fucking Paris is way cooler than this place. Or like, ugh, Bon Jovi again. The fucking music in Berlin is way cooler than this shit. I was in Dubai a couple weeks ago. That shit was way cooler. Like, it's really easy to be a hater, especially when you have an awesome life. But then now what I do is I go out and all of a sudden I'm just like, just lowering that criteria for just having fun and be like, this is fucking awesome. Yeah, Bon Jovi, living on a prayer. Like, fucking really, yeah, like enjoying that shit. So you should be able to go into any situation, any environment, and be like, you know what? This place fucking sucks, but I'm gonna have fucking fun tonight and do whatever it takes, whether that be approaching. For some guys, it's approaching a lot. For some guys, it's 3 shots of Jameson. For some guys, it's figuring out what you need to do to not rely on those crutches. And for me, like I said, it's the stupid shit of going out crazy. And every time I look and I see somebody else doing that stuff, you know how you always get that hater? You're like, oh my God, look at him. Look at that dude breakdancing, that shit's so try hard. A lot of that I feel is actually envy. Or the other side of it is, oh, when I'm drunk, I'm always dancing and doing crazy shit. And people say when you're drunk, that's like the real you, like the you without the filters there. So when I think about all these things, I'm thinking, okay, I don't want to let the environment, I don't want to be the reed in the wind. I want to be the action taker, the decisive person myself and make those decisions for myself. So I'm going to do the right things that I need to do to get in that headspace. So we had crazy fucking shit, and then the openers. A couple openers quick, and then I'll kind of end it here. My little amazing little spiel is, again, the goal is not to have the opener work. So one of my 2 favorite examples, one, usually I've kind of been known for the stupid openers, where I'll think, okay, I'm a pickup instructor, should have some amazing opener. And usually my favorite openers are like, black shirt, you're wearing a black shirt, you have a black shirt on, hi, I'm Brad. Like that, I love that. Oh, he totally opened up right there, it was awesome. Or other ones I'm like, okay, what's worse than that? So I'm like, Zaza Pizza. So I had a guy, he's like, Zaza Pizza, Zaza Pizza. 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 That's the opener, guys. Right? Write that one down. But you hear the tonality, you hear the eye contact, you hear the self-amusement, you hear the loud voice, all that shit comes through. But my favorite, and I'll kind of end with this, is like, I tell this guy, he's totally in his head. So I have him go up to this girl. We're in Las Vegas, fucking loud nightclub. I say, go up to this girl and look her straight in the eyes, really serious, and say, life is like a box of chocolates. I love you. And then just hold it. So he goes out, he's like, life is like a box of chocolates, I love you. And the girl's like, and like calls the like her friends over and are like, what the fuck? And they like want to, and he's like, ooh. And he comes back and he says, it didn't work. It didn't work. I'm like, you think that would work? That's the worst opener ever, right? And I'm not doing this like sadistically to make my student look like sad and shit. It's like the way for me to get in that right headspace is, what does that do? It completely detaches you from the outcome. Your goal is almost to freak her out on purpose. Right, and you can't use that excuse in a city like New York City. There's plenty of women out. You can go to all the different little boroughs and shit like that. So you creep the girls out over here, then you run to the other part of the city, shit like that. But start learning and think for yourself what you need, both mentally to lower your criteria, and then some of the outer game stuff to get in the right headspace and self-amuse some more. So that's pretty much, that's my little spiel. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thank you very much.